Well, come to find out, A&M fans, to say they were upset by this hire would be an understatement. They were furious. When they hired Elko, going back to the message board, check this out. Somebody then posted, if it's Elko, we go to war again. At this point in time, you gave the message board and the entire fan base too much power. So with all the mayhem and madness that was going on during the Alabama and Auburn game and after the game, that's all anybody and everybody was talking about. Meanwhile, there was a huge controversy going on in College Station, Texas. And that controversy was no other than, you guessed it, the search for their new head coach. And I'm going to let you know right now at the very beginning of this video, I have never, and I mean I've never ever in my many years of covering the sport of college football seen something quite like this. Where a team, a program, they hired a guy, it was official, he was on his way there, but due to all the backlash, they unhired him within a few hours. And number one, I can't believe they backed down on that. We'll get to that in just a second. But number two, a fan base actually bullied an athletic director in a program so much to the point where they're like, well, I guess we got to unhire this guy. It's madness, man, straight madness. And then it got to the point when they hired the new guy, they even thought about revolting again. I'm getting a little too far ahead of myself. We've got a lot to talk about in today's video. This topic is so important. It is the one and only topic we're going to speak on. It's late November. College football is turning into a crap show, and I'm all here for it. I love it. And you know this. If we're only talking about one topic in a video in late November, it's got to be important. Important it is, but real quick, there's a lot of people watching the videos, a lot of new people coming to the channel, and you're not subscribed. So if you do enjoy college football content and you want to be a part of our amazing community, by the way, quick shout out to everybody that's already subscribed. Consider joining our community. But all right, Matt, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, to catch you up to speed on things, well, there's not much to catch you up on. You should know the basic information. Texas A&M, they finally fired Jimbo Fisher. Clap it up. Clap it up. They finally grew some kahunas and they fired him. That's all fine and dandy, and it always amazes me when these fans, they're just automatic assumption whenever they fire their head coaches. All right, we're now heading in the right direction, when sometimes, and not just sometimes, but a lot of times, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. This isn't just to A&M fans, but this is to college football fans everywhere. Just because you fire a head coach who isn't doing good, it doesn't mean the next one's going to do any better. Keep that in the back of your mind, but different conversation for a different day. Anyways, continuing along here, news came out late Saturday night, and this just shocked the crap out of me, that Mark Stoops, yes, Kentucky's head coach, he's going to be hired as Texas A&M's new head coach. This shocked me for multiple reasons. Number one, the timing of it, and number two, I just couldn't fathom the thought of Mark Stoops leaving Kentucky. I thought he'd stay at Kentucky forever, but when I really thought about it, I was like, well, I do remember him stating after the Georgia loss that he needs more 4- and 5-star recruits, and A&M, they can provide him with that. Every single social media page was reporting this. It was locked in. Mark Stoops, he's heading to Texas A&M. And although I was shocked by it and whatnot, I honestly didn't think it was too bad of a hire. It wasn't my first choice. I don't think it's a great hire, but I didn't think it was atrocious, if that makes sense. Mark Stoops has reached the pinnacle at Kentucky. He's done all he can do. He'll never be able to beat teams like Alabama and Georgia, but he's led them to a couple 8-9, and I think he had, well, did he have one 10-win season? I don't know, but get the point. He's done okay. Well, come to find out, A&M fans, to say they were upset by this hire would be an understatement. They were furious. I'm not going to show you all the tweets and messages because we'd be sitting up here for the next 30, 35 minutes. But I would just read you off 4 right here. And to give you some context, these are Texas A&M fans writing this on a Texas A&M message board. First one, with Stoops, I'm canceling everything. Cancel all donations, season passes, Texas AG subs, TV subs, and go in hiding in a dark place never to return again like our program. Fire Ross Bjork. He is obviously unwell and can no longer serve as AD. Fire him now. Poop on Stoops. We need to send a message. Find every Stoop in BCS and lay a fat turd on it. Let everyone know we hashtag poop it on Stoops. What in the world is that comment? How could we let this happen? Seriously, they just went 7-5 and he's barely managed to crack the top 30 in recruiting his whole career. Serious Ross, what the actual blank? You can use your imagination there. My dad is a Kentucky fan and he's laughing his blank off right now. We are so blanked. Why on earth should Ross tie his career to Mark freaking Stoops? And like I said, there are thousands of A&M fans that were writing stuff like that, and those are probably some of the nicer ones. Some of the other stuff these fans were saying, how do I say this in the nicest way possible? It wasn't too friendly. There we go. Somebody in the comment section said, as a Longhorn fan, I think this is an excellent hire. A&M fans continuing to believe they're in an elite program is the funniest ongoing joke in college football. Nothing else comes remotely close. I kind of like this perspective from Jason Davis here. He said, is it sinking in yet that this job is not as desirable as they think it is? What do y'all think about that? Before we go any farther, I'll give you my quick 2 cents on Mark Stoops. I would say that he is a solid head coach, and he's done a good job at what he's got at Kentucky. But for me, at least, it's really hard to evaluate him compared to your Kirby Smarts, Sabins, and whoever else you want to throw in that conversation, just because we haven't seen what he can do with 4 and 5 star recruits. I personally like the guy, and I think he's got a good college football mind. And I get the point that everybody brings up. Well, Matt, he didn't do a good job of recruiting at Kentucky. And my reaction to that is always the same. Okay, Kentucky is a basketball school. Kentucky could go 10-2 every year in football, and they would still be viewed and looked at as a basketball school. And guess what? These recruits view them the same way. It's just really hard to get 4 and 5 star football recruits to go to Kentucky, and it always will be. And without these 4 and 5 stars, you won't be able to not just beat Georgia and Alabama, but you won't even be able to compete with them. I'm curious, though. Let me know in the comment section how y'all view Mark Stoops. I like the guy. I'm not saying it's the greatest hire in the world, but I didn't have a problem with it. Getting back on track here, though, while everybody's tweeting out this news, everybody's talking about it, all these A&M fans, they're throwing a hissy fit, Pete Thamel then tweeted this out. Kentucky's Mark Stoops will not be the next Texas A&M coach. ESPN can confirm. That right there was a bombshell because everybody's like, wait a minute. Hold on. It has already been confirmed that he's going there. What happened? Apparently and allegedly, Texas A&M's final approval had not been granted by the board. And guess what? The board saw what everybody was saying, the fan base, they were revolting, and they were like, well, we're just not going to go with the deal. And they cut it. They cut the deal then and there. And what's so crazy about this is, as you can see right here, it was being stated that Mark Stoops was even telling people he was leaving. And while all this is going on, Billy, I hope I'm saying his last name correctly, Luigi, yeah, if I'm saying that wrong, I do apologize. He tweeted out, most insane night I've had covering A&M football, and it's not over yet. For those of you that don't know, it's a very reliable source that covers A&M football. And just like that, with the snap of the fingers, boom, Mark Stoops' career at A&M was over before it even started. Mark Stoops is no longer going to A&M. That is the newest of news, and it's on to the next one. And this is who I would have hired from the jump. Y'all know I've already spoken about this. A&M, their next target was no other than Mike Elko. He was next up on the list. They went after him, and to make an extremely long story short, they got him. He's a new guy. Somebody in the comments said, man, let me check back in 2 hours and see if it's still happening. And that's how I felt about it. Somebody said Duke should play Kentucky to see which coach has to go to A&M. I love this hire. I'm not going to speak about it too much because you know how I feel about it. But guess what? When they hired Elko, going back to the message board, check this out. Somebody then posted, if it's Elko, we go to war again. Like, bro, what is going on? You can't please this fan base. At this point in time, you gave the message board and the entire fan base too much power. Because at this point in time, it seems like the fan base is hiring the head coach. No lie, I imagine when they broke the news that they're going to hire Elko, they was looking at all the comments and they was looking at this message board just hoping they would approve of it. And yeah, fast forward time to our current time and date, that is where we are now. Elko was my original first choice for A&M, and I think they should be happy with this. I like what he brings to the table, but man, oh man, what a sequence that was. If you was keeping up with this A&M stuff when it was going on in live time, you know how crazy it was. I'm just now seeing some people talk about this, though. Apparently and allegedly, Mike Elko left Duke in a not so great way. It is being stated that he addressed his Duke team via Zoom. Now, if that is true, by the way, let me clarify on this. I don't know if it's true. I've just seen a couple of tweets saying that. I've had a couple of people send me stuff like that. That is a sad way to go out, and I hope he didn't do that. Look, man, I get it. It's business at the end of the day, but I think the least any and every head coach could do is meet with the team. If he didn't meet with the team, that's a low blow. Not too sure what really went down with Mike Elko and Duke. Let me know if you know anything about that. As far as it goes for Elko and A&M moving forward, can he turn this shipwreck around? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. That is most definitely a different video to a different day, and we'll talk about it. But for now, at least, here's my immediate reaction. Or not my immediate reaction. What am I saying? My immediate thoughts. Obviously, I think you'd be out of your mind to sit up here and try to tell anyone that next year, A&M's going to go 10-2, 11-1, and compete for an SEC championship. No. That's unfair to Mike Elko. I think everyone in year 1 is going to give him a pass, and in year 2 is when they're really going to be critical of him. That's going to be the important year. They're not going to give him until year 3. Year 2 is going to be the year where everybody's like, all right, it's put up or shut up. I think he can turn it around, and I would like to assume that he could turn it around, but I don't know. for me at least, it's going to be one of those situations where I got to see how it plays out. But here's what I can tell you, A&M fans. I know who couldn't turn it around, and I know who's not the guy. It's Jimbo Fisher. There's many more things I could say. I'll end it off here. Let me know your thoughts down below. But, Romany!